Dynamic keystroke, also known as DKS, is a very powerful tool and it's akin to a macro system, but then without all the automations. If you learn how to use DKS, not only can you do similar things as macros, but you can do some really unique things that are just not possible with macros. In essence, DKS has up to 4 actions that can be activated in 4 different positions on a keystroke. The start of the press, end of the press, releasing the end of the press, and releasing the entire key. Now we're going to set up a very basic DKS setup that is applicable to a lot of games and we call Fox analog. Basically, while you press the key, you have a walking speed, and when you hold down the key all the way to the bottom, you have a sprint. You let go a little bit of the key, you walk again, you go back down again, you sprint again. This can be very useful for some shooter games or games that have some type of shift walking. So let's take a look how to set that up. In Wootility, navigate to one of your profiles and then the advanced keys. You can click up any of the keys on the keyboard layout and select Dynamic Keystroke. I've selected the W key, and the first thing you'll see is that the W is active over the whole range. This is actually the default behavior of the key, but then represented in our DKS overview. Now the DKS overview is very simple once you understand it. On the top of the table you can see the key position. This is when the action takes place. And on the vertical, the left side, you can see all the different key actions that you can bind. So in this case we have W, underneath I could add another one, and in this case I'm going to add Shift. So I can just add it by looking up the Shift key or typing the Shift key and then adding, in this case, left shift underneath. I've added left shift underneath, but now left shift is not active yet. Now the goal is to have W active over the whole switch range, but only have left shift active when I bottom out the key, so we have that sprint moment. To do that, we can start with pressing the second plus and drag it up until the third plus. And then you'll see a bar appear connecting those two, and this means that it will activate once it gets to the 3.6 millimeter, which is the end of the press, and will deactivate when I release the key past the 3.6 millimeter. Now we're going to repeat this exercise for the A, S, and D, and then if I'm right, every key has its original key binded and the left shift only on the second until the third point, which is the bottom out of the key. Once you've completed that, you basically set up Fox analog. Now, whenever you want to walk, you just press the key slightly, anywhere but the bottom out. As soon as you want to sprint, just bottom out the key in any direction and it will start sprinting with your character. This works really well in Fortnite, for example, in any game that has that toggle sprint. Now there are more behaviors possible in DKS. If we go back into the Wootility and take a look, instead of dragging the bar to the next point or even further, which repeats the key as long as that key is in that area, you can also click one of the pluses once and you'll see just one circle on that position, and that basically means when you reach that activation point, it will trigger that key only one time, and just one time. You can see your whole DKS behavior after you've finished in the test your bindings on the left bottom in the advanced keys view. And there you can see all the keys activating when you press down DKS live. Now that was it. Hope you have a lot of fun with DKS. It's very powerful, so start playing around with it. Bye bye.